welcome back. That was a great way to start the day. $9.57 Safeway shop and pay. There's 15 items, 8 of which were Arizona teas. So don't be frightened by the number of items. Went and got it done. It gave me 8 minutes to shop. Took me about 7 minutes. Just the things on each end of the store. Ketchup was on one end and apple cider vinegar was on the other. But so I drove out to Harrisburg. You saw the bridge there. It's a beautiful morning. The lady left really good instructions. It's a manufactured home in a park, and a basketball hoop and slide on the front porch. So I dropped it off, and it went up to this, $12.07. That's a good way to start the day. $8.50 customer tip. Made this round trip really worth it. And Harrisburg is 4 miles from Junction City. There's really no place. There's a Java Joy coffee shop in Harrisburg, but unless they're really hopping, usually don't get an order. Sometimes you do, but you got to plan these round trips wisely. Okay, I want to talk about acceptance rate. And I've been watching Pedro the last couple of weeks and his great $2,000 week. Totally amazing. Hats off to him. Much respect to everybody in that gig wars. That it's motivating. If you want to be motivated, go watch anything Pedro DoorDash Santiago has done in 2023. I mean, he is an inspiration and he's a great motivator. So he's been trying to decide if your acceptance rate does matter. And I do rideshare mainly. I've got about 7,000 rides in rideshare over the last 4 years. Well, 3 years and some change. And an acceptance rate is huge. Okay, especially in rideshare. Acceptance rate is huge. It gives you all your perks and your benefits. And I believe that DoorDash cares about acceptance rate. And let me tell you, in my experience. So the other day, I usually don't stay out and sit in parking lots because I live in Junction City and I can stay busy enough sitting at my house. And why go sit in a parking lot when you can sit at your house? And so I was sitting at McDonald's and there was another Dasher there. He was there before me. I pulled up and he was already there. A young guy. And I figured, it's time for lots of McDonald's orders. And I was like, well, instead of driving home, why don't I just sit here and see if I can get a ride real quick, get an order. And not very long, maybe a minute, and the guy got out of his car, walked inside, and picked up an order and came back. And I was like, all right, great, man, see, there's orders. So I'm next, right? That's what I'm thinking. I'm next. So he goes and delivers, and like 5 minutes later, he pulls back into the parking lot. I'm like, man, that was quick. Must have been really close. Good for him. Good money and close and such. And then he gets out of his car and goes back inside and gets another order. I was not happy. So I got on my phone and I called support. And I was like, explain this to me. Explain to me why. I have an 85% acceptance rate, right? So I'm doing great. My acceptance rate has not been ever really low. And 80s, look at this, I'm pulling into McDonald's and the young fella is right in front of me. As we speak. So anyhow, so I have 85% acceptance rate, and this guy's getting orders, hand over fist, over me. And the support guy had absolutely no idea what to do with me. None. He had no answers. Oh, the system gives the orders, and there's really nothing that I can do. I mean, we went through every troubleshooting thing. We restarted my phone. We turned off the app and turned it back on, logged out, logged back in. I drove around the parking lot and parked closer to the door. I mean, there's so many things you can do. I mean, all those things are good because if it's a glitch, it's a glitch. Because how do they decide when somebody's sitting in the parking lot? I mean, I used to think that this was like the airport queue in rideshare. So in rideshare, if you go to the airport, we have one in Eugene. Eugene has an airport. It has an airport waiting queue. You have to go to the queue. I'm gonna do a whole video on the queue because it is so messed up. But how it's supposed to work is you're supposed to drive into the queue, and then the app via GPS will recognize that you're in the queue, and it will put you in a line, an order. And it's supposed to be first in, first out. So if you're the first one that got in the queue and you're sitting in number one, now Lyft will tell you exactly how many drivers are in the queue. Why not? I mean, thank you, Lyft. Uber does not. It says 1 through 5. So you could be the only person sitting in the entire parking lot, and it'll say 1 to 5 drivers ahead of you. You know, I assumed, I guess that's my fault, I assumed that DoorDash was keeping track. Who got there first? You know, also. But DoorDash doesn't keep track of that. The man would not say that DoorDash keeps track of that. The man would say, he says the orders are given to the closest person. Okay, so you're sitting in the same parking lot right next to each other. So who's closer? So now the system has to decide which driver in that parking lot to give the order to. The system has to decide. And so there's got to be something in the program that keys the system to decide who to give that order to. And the only thing that I could come up with was acceptance rate or priority or top dasher. Those two things. We don't have the diamond program here. We don't have the large order program here. We don't have, you know, the pizza delivery program here. None of that stuff in Junction City. Maybe in Eugene. I haven't dashed in Eugene in a couple of years. I might start trying, but I haven't. But so you see what I mean? So acceptance rate becomes the determining factor. Now I'm going to ask this guy. Maybe I'll ask him today what his acceptance rate is. You know what? I'm going to go ask him right now. He's sitting in the same parking lot. Hold on. I'll get right back to you. Okay, I'm going to walk over to his car and ask him right now while he's sitting here. Hey, how you doing?
Pretty good.
I have a question for you.
Because I thought you would have pulled up here.
Oh, no. I try to get on the end there, but sometimes I get worried about trucks hitting me.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What is your acceptance rate?
Is the lowest I've got it to is like 20%.
Well, you've been down to 20.
Yeah.
Well,
And
74.
It's 74 right now.
That's not bad. I'm gonna. Well, there you have it. That wasn't what I expected. I expected him to have a high acceptance rate, and there it was sitting at 74. But did you notice one other thing? I'm just trying to figure this out. There's theories, just doing some science, some study. Did you notice how many rides he had? Over 300 deliveries. And I'm only at like 425. Okay, so that brings another question. Could it be seniority? Could it be longevity? Could it be years on the app? Could it, I mean, I don't know. While we were standing there talking, we talked longer than the video. Obviously, he got out of his car. We were talking about rideshare and other things. He's not a top dasher, even though he has the scores to be a top dasher. I'm not a top dasher. 86% acceptance rate. That's what I have. So, the only reason that he would have gotten any orders, other than they just flipped a coin, that could be it. I mean, they just had to pick one, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, because while we were standing there talking, he got an order to Java Joy in Harrisburg, 525 or whatever, to pick up a coffee. And, from where we were standing with our phones, technically I was closer to Java Joy. So I don't know what they're thinking. It's obviously not. There's got to be a tiebreaker somehow. The system has to look at something, some criteria. This is the second time that we've been sitting in the same parking lot, and he's been given the offer before me. And so, we're just guessing now. We're just guessing. But I do believe, that the acceptance rate is going to be taken into consideration. I mean, at some point, DoorDash has to make a decision on how are they going to prioritize, drivers, because there's so many drivers out there. I mean, how many times have you pulled into a parking lot and there's just multiple drivers waiting for food? And, before, when I started watching YouTube and all that, before, people were saying, well, your acceptance rate doesn't matter. It's whoever's closest. Well, what if you're sitting right next to each other in the parking lot? I mean, are they going to count feet, or what are they going to do? So they have to do something. The debate continues. If you have any comments, or if you have any ideas about what's going on, please let us know. Put it in the comments, and we'll talk about it, because I don't think there's anybody knows the answer. If you work for DoorDash, please tell us what it is. So people are scratching their heads, wondering what do I have to do differently to get the orders? How am I supposed to do this? Okay, so I'd gone home for a little bit. I just wasn't getting any orders, and I have things to do around my house and dogs to take care of, and my wife is sitting on the couch, and we like to talk to each other. Been married for 31 years, so we like to talk to each other. And then this order came in, $4.75 at McDonald's for a mile and a half, I think, whatever, really short miles. And the thing is, it's most of that's driving to McDonald's. I mean, so it's basically go to McDonald's and drive a couple more blocks and deliver it. So these are the orders that I like. This will put me over $40, which is actually my goal for DoorDash in Junction City. Different avenues, like Pedro said, DoorDash and rideshare is a stepping stone to other things. So if you're not working on other things, then you're probably wasting your time, or you're just lazy. So don't do that. So anyway, I'm going to be at the McDonald's here in a minute, and I'll let you know what's going on. Okay, I got over to McDonald's, and the lobby for McDonald's was closed, and so I had to go through the drive-thru, and there was nobody in line. So I went right through, and they had the order ready for me, handed it right out the window to me, and went and delivered it. The whole order from start to finish took about 6 minutes. And then right after I dropped that off, I got this order to Safeway, $4.25. It's a grocery pickup, so 1.5 miles for $4.25. I'll take it. This is Junction City, so there's at least a $2 tip on there from the customer. This was ordered by Safeway. I looked up about $42 worth of groceries, so it's not going to be that big of a deal. And it's right down the street, so let's go pick this up. Back at the Safeway, walk up here. Okay, so I have the order ready. It was sitting on the counter. We got it in the cart here. There you go. So I'm back at McDonald's. The lobby is still closed, so I'm here at the drive-thru. Been here for a couple minutes.
Large sweet tea, 2 McMuffins.
No, I've got the DoorDash order.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I delivered that. Stayed at 575. Nice trailer park. And of course, Google Maps takes you around the block and tries to bring you in the back, which has got a fence across the road. So, yeah, if you don't know how to get out here, you got to drive around. And the guy actually left instructions in the app to only come on Pitney Lane. And okay, so I got done with that order. And got back into town and picked up my wife, and she came and did a couple of deliveries with me. Ended up at McDonald's for one of the orders. I'll just run through them here and put up some screenshots. But I ended up at McDonald's for an order, and it was during the lunch rush, and the Junction City High School was at lunch, and so McDonald's was flooded with kids, and the kid behind the counter looked like she was a high school kid, and I wasn't very happy because it took them 15 minutes to get that order ready. I waited there way too long, and it was going to the middle school, so I mean, I kept in contact, and you send lots of messages back and forth, but they didn't seem to care. So the same dasher came in twice, and my order was sitting there. It was fries, 2 large drinks, and a McFlurry. That's all it was. And it ended up, I watched the bag, it ended up sitting there for like maybe 5 or 6 minutes before they even put stickers on it. So they let these fries sit there and get cold, and they let the McFlurry start to melt before this kid behind the counter decided it was important enough to start getting it going. And I wasn't very happy. So I actually told the customer that they probably should complain, because that merchant didn't give a rip about their money. So, but anyway, so the point I was trying to make today, what I wanted this video to be about, was the acceptance rate thing. And we did our experiment, And yeah, I mean, acceptance rate, longevity, number of rides. What do you think it is? I was sitting at home there for a minute. I'm going to Safeway right now, and while I was sitting at home, I got my notice right here that I'm a top dasher. So this is the first time ever, yay me. So I can dash anytime, and I'm going to still keep scheduling because, you know, I don't want to get out of the habit of scheduling, but I do think that scheduling is that might be it too. I mean, if you schedule a ride versus dashing now when it's busy. So I don't know. The top dasher thing says that you're going to get priority on when it's slow. So yeah, we'll see if that works out. Go from there. So if you like this video, just hit the like button. Need some more subscribers, so go ahead and subscribe and hit the bell to get notifications when I drop a new video. And if you have any comments or any suggestions of what future videos, just let me know, and we'll see what we can do. I'll catch you guys later.